Alright guys, so we're going to go into Simplify3d and I'm going to show you guys my best settings for, getting as much as string free and all of that goodness, clean model prints right here. Okay, so we're going to go into that right now. So we're going to go into this. Now I am going to tell you something with the Hictop printer or the Creality. The number one thing that really pissed me off is every time when it completes, it stays stuck. The extruder stays stuck on the model itself. And then, like, if you're away or whatever, when you collect it, when you go and you collect it, what happens is there's a divot in it. And then you have to kind of, I use the soldering iron to kind of like flatten it, or a heat gun. It's just annoying. So anyways, I'm going to put in the description below also the exact script that I'm going to show you exactly what to do right now. So we're going to go into the edit process right here, settings. Okay, and this is my settings right now I'm going to tell you. So as you see for the CR-10 Creality, that's what I did. So you do the save whatever. So the primary extruder, I put it on 0.40 millimeter, and then the extrusion multiplier at 0.96. Now you see the default right here, I'm going to show you. Hold on. Oops. Okay. So the default is 3590. So but we're going into my safe profile, which is this right here. Okay. So now the retraction is set at 7.50. Okay, and the extra restart distance 0. We're leaving these two the same at 0. The retraction speed, I'm leaving at 1800. Now, I'm going to tell you why. A lot of people put this at 95 or 75. I have no idea why they do that, because their prints are going to take them 1,000 hours to complete. It doesn't make any sense. It does just fine. I don't get any kind of problems at all at this setting right here. So I leave it at 1800. I leave these right here at 1800 millimeter. At the coast at end and white nozzle, I left it at 0, at regular, unchecked. So we're going to just go over each and every one of them. I put my infill. It depends now on exactly what you want to do. For me, I'm doing helmets right now, with working for Comic-Con, so I'm doing like a lot of helmet designs and stuff like that I want printed. The thing is, I do a lot of heavy-duty work on the actual helmet itself. With soldering irons, with drill guns, and so on and so forth. I need the infill to be pretty. I need the model to be a little bit tough, so I put it at 30. Now you don't have to have it at 30. You can put it at 25 or 20. To be honest, I don't notice much of a difference. But just to be on the safe side, I just do it out of it, whatever. But it depends on what you guys want to do. So now we go into the layer. Okay, so the layers, what I do is as you can see, 332, which I believe is the default. I'm not sure exactly. The primary layer height is at 0.2000 right here. Pretty much all the same. Now on first height layer, I put at 80%. First layer width at 150%. And then first layer speed at 50%. Okay? These are left pretty much the same. So I just want to give you guys exactly what I do. Now the additions right here, okay? I always use a skirt. So I do for the primary extruder, I do skirt layer 1 and then skirt offset from part at about 5. Okay, now you could put it at 10. Now I'm going to tell you what is the point of that. So basically when you finish a print or whatever, and this is, I don't know why, but this is what it means to me, because this is what it works. I could put it anywhere from 10 to 5. Now I'll tell you why, because when it's done on the Hictop printers or in the Creality, what you're going through is the extruder itself only goes left and right. It doesn't go up and down like on the anet, where it doesn't go all around like north, south, east, west, all that stuff. It just goes like really on the Z axis, up and down like that, and it goes left to right on the X axis. And then the bed moves, pretty much on the Y-axis and so on and so forth. If I got that right. So what I do is I set it on 5. just to be on the safe side, because I don't want to go over 400 millimeters, which is my build volume. As big as it is, you never know when you're doing helmets, especially when you're doing them in one piece or a big girthy piece. You don't want to go over the build volume, because then it just won't go and it'll be stuck there. So the best thing to do is to leave about a 5 millimeter size offset between, you know, from the part and the extruder. So I put it on 5, but you could go ahead and put it on 10 if you have a little bit more space, or if you're working with smaller models. Again, it depends on what model you're working with. If I work with big helmets, I'm usually going on 5. If I work with something like action figures and stuff like that, where I'm printing them out, or, you know, one of those Warhammer, what is it, models, I'll put it on 10. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then 2 on the skirt outlines right here. I use the raft all the time, and that pretty much these are the, I think, the default settings. I don't touch these at all. Then we're gonna go to infill. Okay, now I check also, just so you guys know, the raft, because I like having the raft. To be honest, it kind of levels out even when your bed isn't leveled. Every time when I do the raft, for some reason, even when the bed wasn't leveled, it comes out perfectly awesome because of that. So I think that's pretty awesome on that. And I always do, of course, supports when needed. Okay, so now we're going into the infill, right? So a lot of people set the infills on high. I say there's absolutely no point to it. To be honest, I could go with the infill percentage on 15 as well, which I'm going to do right now, which I didn't do on this one for some unknown reason. So we're going to go to 15, 15, 100, which is the infill extrusion width. And minimum infill length is at 5 millimeter. And then print, what is this, sparse infill at 1. These I didn't touch, but this one I did. So I did 15, 15, 100, and 5, okay? So that's what I recommend. That works for me. It's also easier to pull apart and all of that, so you don't got to go all crazy on it. And believe me, between 15 to 20, you're not going to notice much of a difference, and that's the sweet spot of the interior infill percentage. But I like keeping it always at 15 or even 10 sometimes. It depends on what you're doing again. But leave it at 15. That's a sweet spot, so that's good. Let me just save that right now. So I'm going to go into here, default. So I set that before. On my default, but here we go. Now on infill pattern, I choose full honeycomb instead of was it rectilinear, because rectilinear, I don't know why, but it seems to take more time. So I don't know, I like the honeycomb. It looks cool. It's sturdy. I don't know, it's great. It's freaking the same thing, it just takes less time. So I highly recommend that. Then you go into supports. Oh, look at that, the infill. Oh, oops. Now I see. Never mind, guys. Sorry about that. Edit that. The infill percentage at 30. My bad. 15 here and 5 over here. And 100 millimeter right here. Sorry, 100% right here. And then you go into this. But again, like, it depends on what model you guys are doing. If you're doing helmets, you could go anywhere between 15. But I liked sticking to 30, as I said before. So whatever, we're going to go into that. Supports here. Oh, sorry. Oops, infill. Let me just resave again, because my head's all over the place today. I did way too many models today, so I'm like lost on what I'm doing. But right now I'm actually working on the helmet a little bit, and we'll get into that after in a later episode. Be sure to subscribe, and you know, you'll find out exactly what I'm all the crazy shit that I'm doing. Okay, now we're going to go into temperature. Okay, now for the primary extruder, I have it set at 205 for PLA. Now, why 205 and not 180 like the actual, you know, the machine that it comes with as a default? Very simple, guys, because some of these filaments, like I use the, what was it called? I always forget the name because it's so freaking complicated. The ZY Tech, something like that. So all the time it says to add about 5 to 10. I keep it at 205 as a sweet spot because when I print PLA, I don't know, I just have less problems printing at that temperature. When I print it at the native temperature, I seem to have a lot of zits. I don't know how it works, but you know what I'm talking about, like those little bubbles that pop on it. I think because of the heating wasn't enough, so I just leave it at 205. Now the heat bed, I set it at 60 degrees. Now the reason for that is, even though I have a glass bed, you figure, oh, that, you know, is it worth it to make it that, you know, on PLA, is it worth it to do that, you know, that you need a heat bed at all? I know, because sometimes I do it without even a heat bed on my other printer. But the truth of the matter is, it just works for me, and it also comes out of the glass easier instead of me having to pick at it with the scraper. You know what I mean? So it's easier for me, so I leave it at 60 just to be on the safe side. So that's my temperature settings right here. Now we're going to go into the cooling settings. Now this is what you guys, I want you guys to pay close attention to. So what I do is, on the first layer right here, I put it on 0. Second layer at 25. And then third layer, I put it on 100. Now, you could put it at 90. There's not much of a difference between 90 to 100. This really has to do with the noise thing. So on 90, you're going to have, you know, little to no noise, sort of, you know, when you're printing. When you put it at 100, you're going to have, you know, some noise there. But to be honest with you, I love this setting, and the noise doesn't bother me because I have this in another room, so I sleep. And not, you know, I don't sleep near my printer, so it doesn't make a difference. So, I mean, if you're in your, you know, room or whatever, then yeah, try to minimize it. There's no real difference between 90 to 100, other than the sound. But I like going with the sweet spot on a, you know, for me, that's my sweet spot, 100 right there. So I would do that, 0, 25, 100. Now, over here, adjusting print speed layers. Now, I don't know if this is on default, but mine, it wasn't. So I had to set it to, so I set it to 15, but I heard some people tell me that that was their default, but I guess mine, I don't know, didn't come on there. Now, Blip Fan to full power when, what do you call it, increase from idle. Okay, now this thing is good to have on if, with lower voltage, you know, stuff, so it'll actually up your fan. I have no issues with it. You could put it on if you want. I just don't care for it. It doesn't do anything to me. But these are the settings that I want you guys to pay close attention to, and it's going to do a great job for all your prints. You know what? I'm going to leave this at, because this is bothering me. I'm going to leave it at 25. There you go. Let me just go like this. Because now the girth of my helmet is now pretty much done. It's just now the mouth and everything, so those are light anyway. So again, you got to be the judge of what kind of infill stuff you want, you know, setting you want. But here we go. Now I want you guys to pay close attention to this. This is the G code. Now I am gonna have for you, you know, the whole setting, you know, all the settings in the script, okay, for the script in the description. So just copy and paste it and see where it gets you. Now for me, this is 300, 300, and 400, okay, on the Z-axis. Okay, and X and Y is set on 300 millimeter. Now you guys can go whatever, you know, whatever your build volume is, you know, you could put it in. Now if you're doing it custom, you obviously, you know, sky's the limit. Like mine is a custom printer. I can make it larger if I want to, but I like to stick about 100 millimeter below the build volume. Now the reason why I do that is because I like to give myself a little headroom, but again, you guys don't have to do that. You can do, you know, for me, this is hot, you know, high enough, unless I'm doing extremely large projects, which then I do on my other printer. But that's pretty much it. So if you could afford to have some, you know, headroom, do it. It's not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is, so just do what you got to do. Then you have the flip build table axis, which is set to Y, which is everything here is on default. This thing was not on default, so I hit this check mark here and set it to 250,000 on the baud rate. Okay, now we're gonna go into script. Just make sure you guys have this just in case, because I know every one of these programs came different for some reason, so just have these checked off and whatever. Now we're gonna go into script. Okay, so this is what I want you guys to pay attention to. So this is G28 home on all axes, which unfortunately to the Hictop printer, or the printers that I built, the bed is the one that's moving, and the extruder is just moving left and right, where the bed is moving, you know, up and down and all. I mean, you know, and it moves up, whatever, but the bed is moving on the was it Y-axis or whatever. So that's the thing. So because of that, the home all axis doesn't really make any, you know, difference if you don't have that height, which we went over in the other place right there where I set it to 5, and I told you guys you could set it possibly to 10. But now G1 Z5 F3000 lift, then the G1 X40 Y2 F1500, avoid binder clips, G1 Z0.2 F3000, get ready to prime, G92 E0 was a reset extrusion distance, G1 X150 E10 F600 prime nozzle, G1 X150 F5000 quick wipe. Okay, so all of these settings right here for the starting script, I highly recommend. I did it and it worked for me. So I mean, that's just it. Now the layer retraction tool I didn't touch. The ending script is the important one right here. So we did G28 X0. So, oh, sorry. So this was the starting script. So home all axes does make sense. Sorry about that. And this one, it doesn't make sense on the X because it just stays stuck unless you have that height of 5mm or 10mm. So this is it. G28 X0 home X axis, right? As it that was, I think, the default. But now we're going to add M140 S0 turn off cooling fan. Because that's what I want. As soon as it stops, I don't want the fan to keep going on and you know, having more power consumption. But also, it's, you know, it's better to make it rest whenever you can because these things do have a shelf life, if you know what I mean. So then we got M140 S0. Then you got turn off extruder. Then we have the M140 S0 turn off bed. So basically, it's all powering down when you write this in here. And then the M84 disable motors. So the motors are completely, the stepper motors are completely shut off. Now we're going to go into other. Okay, for me, as you guys can review in the channel, in my YouTube channel, you could see that I have that I showed you guys a cheap filament that works amazing, just like the expensive ones, and they're really cheap when you buy in bulk. Yes, they're $10. Okay, they're $10 a spool. The filament diameter for some reason was set on some other crap on default. It's 1.75, 7,500, whatever. But you guys, depends on what your the nozzle diameter is and what spool you're using and so on and so forth. With me, my spool is 1.75. Let's see, filament density at 1.25. Now remember, if you guys go a little bit above it, your guys are gonna cause some problems. So this is best for me. Now here, default print speed at 3,600. I know some people do it extremely low, but guess what, guys? When you do that, it's gonna take you forever to print, and I have clear prints all the time. So trust me on this. Use the default printing speed at 3,600. Outline underspeed at 50%, solid infill underspeed at 80%, support structure underspeed at 80%, XY axis movement speed at 4,800, and Z axis movement speed at 1,000. Now, yes, people do change this, but again, it's going to take you forever to print. It's not worth it. I'm going to show you. My models come out very, very clear. Especially, I just printed out this thing by request. Someone told me to print it out for them. It's an Iron Man thing. I got it off Thingiverse, and I said I'm gonna test this out because my the mouthpiece, wasn't fitting well, the one that I designed. So I went ahead and printed this mouthpiece, and I'm gonna connect it to my model. I'm actually gonna be donating this to a child that means a lot to me. He's unfortunately dying from cancer, but he's fighting the good fight, and I hope he I pray that he makes it and everything, and I really want to make his dream come true, and I'm doing this for him. So I'm basically I'm going to be sanding this a little bit and all that, and I'm going to show you the mouthpiece that I did for it. But that's about it. But there you go. So that's the settings on that. Then we're going to go into advanced, and let me see this. Okay, so advanced setting everything is pretty much left the same. I just want to make sure because I know everybody's default for some reason came out different. So we have only retract when crossing open spaces on check, force retraction between layers on check, medium travel of retraction at 3.00 millimeters, perform reaction during wipe movement uncheck, and then only wipe extruder for outermost perimeters. And then I do avoid crossing outline. This I believe wasn't on the default, so I would go into this. Let me just double check here because I want to make sure everything is cool. Yeah, this wasn't on check. So, and also this wasn't on check. So you see, these two got to be checked because that was the default. So that's that. And set it to 200 on maximum allowed detour factor. And then you got 12.00 millimeter for total change retraction distance. Tool change extra was a restart distance at negative 1.00 millimeter. Tool change retraction speed at 10.0 millimeter. So that's pretty much it, guys. And that is my setting. I use this for PLA, and I'm going to show you now the model so you guys can actually see it and all that goodness. So give me 1 second and we'll get right to it. So guys, as you can see, don't mind this is dust, but look how clear this is. The prints are very, very clear. Hardly any noticeable, I mean, you could see it when you really magnify it, the layers, but obviously you're going to sand those anyway. But you could see that they don't really look as, let's say, as layery as, let's say, this one right here that I made, where you could see the layers going like, look at that, line, line, line. These are very close together and they look amazing. And you could see the inside also was very clear. These only came out of the supports. There was absolutely zero stringing, completely zero stringing. And because there was no pivot, because like I told you in the other one, I had a pivot because every time I did, where's that thing here? Every time I did, I'm looking for that thing. But anyways, it had a pivot because the extruder was on it. So now when you give it about a 5 millimeter distance or a 10 millimeter distance, you're going to have a little bit of wiggle room so it doesn't hit and, you know, melt it and then leave you a pivot that you have to cover up afterwards. But this thing is amazing. I mean, it just needs a little sanding, only because of the, you know, when I pulled out the supports, but it came out very, very clean. I mean, everything came out clean. I mean, look at this. The detail on this is amazing. So that's my settings, guys, and it works for PLA, I can guarantee you. I work with ABS as well. With the ABS, obviously, you're going to set the temperatures to a different setting. The temperature only has to be at about, I put it on, I think, 240, 250. 240, I would say, is a sweet spot. And I put the bed on 120, I believe. I just haven't worked with with ABS in a very long time. I like using PLA almost all the time on all my models and everything, but this is amazing. So I printed this out from Thingiverse, and I'm gonna write in the description below because the mouth that I had really sucked, and this one I really, really liked. I mean, granted, it doesn't have the, like you see here, the screws, but you know, if they gave me permission to edit it, I would make it even better. But there's no editing power in this, so whatever, I'm just gonna go with this, and if anything, I'll just drill it into it and call it a day. But anyways, that's what I gotta say. Let me know what you guys think. Like and definitely subscribe and hit that bell button. As many more videos to come on 3D printing and a bunch of other crap. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, dislike. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye. So guys, as you see, here's my model. No stringing whatsoever. Don't pay attention to this. This is just a layer from before from my other print. No stringing. I mean, yeah, I thought this was a string, but it's not. No stringing. Everything is perfect. You notice that? Even the, I made, like I showed you, the supports, I made them at 15. So they're weak, so you could just tear everything out really perfectly. Give me 1 sec. So perfect fit. As you can see, some of them I gotta, you see like they have little things I gotta pull out. But perfect in every way, shape, and form. So, I mean, this is based on my settings, guys. Look how nice it is. I mean, even the layers right here, You see this? It's still not as bad as my other one was that came with the factory stuff. And obviously you could sand this down and everything will be just fine. But everything here is smooth. It's not sharp. Everything is really ready to go. It's even like it's really nice. Like I could just really do a light sand job on this and, you know, just go to work on painting it. It's already pretty much ready. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, dislike. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye. Oh, let me just show you this. So see, it tears out so easily from this just by hand. I don't even need to use the what is it? The scraper or anything. The thing just came right off the raft and the supports. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Like, definitely subscribe, as there'll be tons more videos to come. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye.